Hey, this is Pastor Steve with Word Study number 4. We are going through for 40 days looking at various words that's from the Nelson's Compact Bible Dictionary, and we are going to be looking at them and actually learning some things together, and or maybe refreshing our minds from some things we've already known. But the word study word today is Lazarus, and we find that he is the brother of Martha and Mary of a place called Bethany, and we find that in John chapter 11, verse 1, where it says, "Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha." And there's a long account in the Gospel of John that tells about his death and his resurrection at the command of Jesus. We find that story in John chapter 11, verses 38 to 44, and let's read that together. Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days." Then Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and his feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." Well, a second account in the same gospel describes him as sitting in the family home after his resurrection, after this great miracle that had happened. And we find that in John chapter 12, verses 1 and 2, where it says, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. Here a dinner was given in his honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. Listen, because of the publicity surrounding this resurrection, this miracle, this event, the chief priests plotted to kill Lazarus. They was already trying to kill Jesus, but they said, "Hey, here Lazarus is an evidence of his miracles, so let's get rid of him too." And we see that in John chapter 12, verses 9 through 11, where it says, "Meanwhile, a large crowd of Jews found out that Jesus was there and came, not only because of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead." So the chief priests made plans to kill Lazarus as well, for on account of him, many of the Jews were going over to Jesus and they were believing in him. Well, twice John's gospel records Jesus' love for Lazarus, and we find that in John chapter 11 and verses 3 and 5, and it reads this way: "So the sisters sent word to Jesus, 'Lord, the one you love is sick.' Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. Yet upon hearing of this sickness of his friend, Jesus had delayed his returning to Bethany. When he finally arrived, both Martha and Mary rebuked Jesus for not coming sooner. Well, Jesus showed his impatience at their unbelief, as well as his personal sorrow. We find that in John chapter 11, verses 32 to 35, and look at that. "When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, 'Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.' When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. 'Where have you laid him?' he asked. 'Come and see, Lord,' they replied. And then that famous verse, the shortest verse in the Bible, verse 35, Jesus wept. Now I want to close out this word study with this thought. Jesus was moved in spirit and wept because this family was hurting, and also there was a loss of his friend. But I often thought, we hurt a lot, don't we? Our country is hurting. There's, there's people that have losses in their life because of this coronavirus. Listen, there's a lot of people that are hurting. And Jesus came to earth as a man. He understands us, understands how it feels to really hurt. And so I'm sure that he has a way to comfort us. And he does comfort us and help us through these times of hurt. Well, have a great day. God bless.